to that right now.
Because here's a couple of things I see. Like, one is that we are all aware of the current problem with Bitcoin, and a lot of people think it's a scaling issue, but it's a governance issue. And just so you guys are watching this at home, when we say governance issue, we're not talking about a government. Okay, it can be, but it doesn't have to be, right? A governance is, you guys build governance. Or why don't you explain? You're the expert on it.
Sure. Well,
why am I explaining this?
Okay, so what you get with governance, which I think some folks here in the room agree that is missing in Bitcoin right now, is the ability to make hard decisions.
Mm-hmm. A final decision.
Yes, and also a final decision. A binding decision, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what happened in Bitcoin that's currently going on right now is you have all these Bitcoin forks that are happening, and you may or may not like that, right? So Decred is of the opinion that that's a bad thing, so that's why we actually build the governance system, is to prevent those things from happening. Also, and the thing that we've actually learned through the process is that there's a lot of very loud voices, but they don't represent the larger community. So even though you have people yelling on Twitter and getting all emotional,
spent 2 years arguing over 1 megabyte versus 2 megabytes.
Right. Well, but I understand the debate, though, right? If I'm a miner, I want 1 megabyte, right? Because I want more fees. If I am a holder or a hodler, I got to say it right. I want the largest possible blocks because I want to be able to move my value around, right? So those are natural positions for people to stake, right? So in order to resolve that, you need to have some sort of resolution mechanism. This is where governance pays off, right? Because now you can write the code and put it up for a vote and say, all right, people, which one is it, right? And then votes tend to actually be nowhere nearly as controversial as Twitter makes it out to be.
Yeah, because in the blockchain space, there's like you said, there's a bunch of people with big followings on Twitter, on YouTube, or social media, and they may not understand, because right now there are some people that argue that the people with the best engineering backgrounds or best engineering skills should be the ones who make the decision on what direction Bitcoin should go. But then there's also a group of people like myself, like Leon, that believe that Bitcoin should go in the direction that best benefits the community.
Right.
Not on a handful of people that have the best engineering skills, not just that alone, but on where the majority of the community wants it to go.
Well, you got to be even more careful there. So the only engineering skills, right? Because there is only a group of people that is allowed to commit into the Bitcoin repository as well, right?
Yeah.
So if you want to make changes to Bitcoin, you really don't have recourse unless you work at a Blockstream or
because you want to mention about that one that video you showed me from Vinay Gupta.
Yeah. He said that the title. This is an old Bitcoin video, but I think it's one of the best ones. Is Bitcoin cannot be divorced from existing political theory. I think a lot of us old timers have seen that video,
right.
And Vinay had. In my view, he predicted the current predicament years ago. He saw this.
So did we, actually. That's why Decred exists.
Yes.
This is literally the reason why we started building Decred, was because it was coming to a head. And when I asked some folks that worked on Bitcoin directly, so what are you guys going to do about the block size? And it was like, really nothing. We're going to let the market decide, decide the fees.
And what the market's deciding is, there's going to be all these forks to get the heck out of here.
So from an engineering perspective, a software engineering perspective, what does let the market decide mean? That means we don't know.
Well, it means we're going to fork.
That means we're going to get out of here. We're going to leave.
Yeah.
Right. I'm going to take my marbles and go to my own sandbox.
So Rhett, now I agree with you that Bitcoin has, and forking from Bitcoin has a lot of advantages, but we also see Bitcoin, there's a lot of disadvantages with Bitcoin, and mainly I think around governance. And unless you want to step up as a benevolent dictator, right? Because that's kind of is how, say, Ethereum, or I would even argue like Litecoin is. There's a figurehead, whether it's Vitalik, it would have been Satoshi Nakamoto with Bitcoin if he was still around, or Charlie Lee of Litecoin, right? Without a governance model, do you see that since you are the Z Classic and Bitcoin Private, do you see that you're going to need to be that benevolent dictator to drive the development forward, at least in the short run?
Well, I mean, one thing that one thing that I want to sort of preface it with, one thing that I really like about my position in Bitcoin Private and Z Classic is actually that how little my importance is. What I mean is that I'm not like a CEO of a company. I can't really tell anyone what to do.
You can't order, but you have influence.
You have influence over the community because you're the founder.
You're the founder. You have the influence in the same way Vitalik can't tell people what to do, right? But what he says and what his opinions is carries a lot of weight.
Right.
As the founder and the creator, I would argue that you are in the same position for Z Classic and Bitcoin Private, and so I would say the community is going to look to you. They're going to give you their opinions. They're going to give you what they think. They're going to give you, suggestions like we are and other people in the community. But a lot of it is your voice is going to carry a lot of that weight as to which way the community goes. Do you agree?
No, I agree. I mean, right now I'm actually just really shocked at how fast this has grown. It was about two weeks ago. I was actually just proposing on Twitter, asking people to poll what should the name be if we did this fork. Mm-hmm. And since then, there's just been a massive inflow of new people. The community on Telegram, I think it was about 600 people 2 weeks ago, and it's over 3,000 people today. And so just sort of.
Would that be safe to say the market wants this?
Right. So
the market is telling you that they want this.
We want this, right?
We want this.